Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel Reliant UGC Net. I am Kashish Madan and today we are going to talk about the maxims of teaching. All of you must be knowing about the principles of teaching, but what are exactly the maxims of teaching? I am going to explain you today, and what are the different maxims that you can apply when you will become a teacher or a professor in the coming future. See, these maxims are not only relevant for your exam, but also these are relevant for the real life situation, that when you will become a teacher or a professor in the coming future, you can apply these techniques and methods to make your teaching and your learning outcomes more influential, more impactful, and this will also help to build a classroom that is more interesting and more experiential for the students also. In this way, you can easily and very beneficially achieve the targets that you have determined for your learning outcomes, right? So we will be talking about today the maxims of teaching. As I already told you that these maxims and these principles will not only help for exam, but will also help you to become a better teacher in the real life situation. You can apply these maxims and principles and make your teaching more impactful. You can make your teaching more effective and become a successful teacher in the future with the help of, with the knowledge of these principles and these maxims of teaching. Before I move ahead and start with the maxims of teaching, I always ask you a question, and again I am back with the question. Now you have to tell me in the comment section that what is the difference between principles of teaching and maxims of teaching. There is a very slight difference between principles particularly and maxims of teaching, and you have to tell me in the comment section in 1 or 2 lines. Just explain me, what do you mean by principles of teaching and what do you mean by maxims of teaching? After this video, think about this concept and do let me know in the comment section. The right answer will be personally replied by me, and it will also help you to enhance your analytical power over the concept, right? So moving on to the maxims of teaching. If I go formally with the definition, what are the maxims? The maxims are the general ideas and the methods of doing the work. Whatever we are doing, if we focus on the general ideas and the general methods that have been developed for doing it, that particular thing will be called as maxim. And when I talk about maxims of teaching, so maxims of teaching are the general ideas that will help you to make your teaching more effective and more impactful to the students. Maxims of teaching have been developed over number of years of experience, and these have been developed by different psychologists, educationists, pedagogists, preceptors, with the help of their experience. So whatever they have experienced in their time, they have summarized it in different maxims so that the coming teachers, the coming professors of the future will apply these techniques and methods in their teaching so that better learning outcomes can be achieved. These maxims are very much reliable. You can rely upon them because they will give you a very beneficial result of your learning outcome. Your predetermined objectives of teaching and the learning outcomes can be easily attained if you follow these maxims, right? These maxims also act as a springboard because it gives a momentum to the teaching learning process. It acts as a catalyst, I can say. It acts as a catalyst to your teaching learning process and thus helps the teacher in achieving the predetermined objectives of teaching. And when you achieve the goals, the targets that you have predetermined, it will give you the sense of satisfaction and relief. Both the parties, whether it is the teacher or the student, both will feel a sense of contentment and satisfaction when these predetermined objectives and predetermined goals are achieved. So following these general ideas, these general principles and guidelines and methods of teaching, you can make that learning experience more great, more interesting, more experiential and more amazing to the students, right? Moving ahead, we have number of maxims that we are going to talk about. First, I will give you an overview of these maxims. See, there is known to unknown, easy to difficult, simple to complex, actual to the representative, concrete to abstract. This one is very much important, guys. Particular to general, which focuses on induction to deduction concept, analysis to synthesis, whole to parts, empirical to rational, psychological to logical. Of course, this is very much important because it focuses on the mental abilities of the students. Also, there is 12th one, that is encouragement to self-study. And this is based on the Dalton's model. We will be talking about this also in the coming lectures. So the 12th one is encouragement to self-study. All these maxims are applied in different situations on the basis of the current scenario that is being faced by you, that is being experienced by you. So you should know about these maxims and how these maxims can be applied, right? So first we move on to the very first maxim, that is from known to unknown. Now what is exactly from known to unknown maxim? Suppose I want to teach you, like I am teaching you about the maxims of teaching. Firstly, I told you about the principles of teaching. Principles of teaching is a thing that you know something about these concepts, right? But maxims is something you don't know. So I am moving you from things that you know to the things that you don't know. So this maxim focuses on linking the prior knowledge of the student to the new knowledge that you are going to supply to his mind, to his intellect, right? Formally, if I say, this maxim states that the new knowledge that is to be delivered to the student, that is to be delivered to the pupils, must be logically linked, must be logically connected with their previous knowledge. I told you about principles. This is the thing that is known to you. You already know about it. And I am trying to link it to the maxims. And these maxims are unknown to you. So what I am trying to do, I am trying to link these known facts and information to something that is unknown to you, so that you logically build up a base and prepare your mind for understanding something that is not known to you, that is unknown to you, right? This maxim facilitates the learning process and economizes the efforts of the teacher also. You have to make the learning experience smooth for the students, and as well as it should be smooth for yourself also. So you can economize your efforts without wasting any time and your energy on the irrelevant things by linking the concepts that are earlier known by the students to the new concepts. You can economize your efforts also. You can make your learning more easy and smooth also, right? So it won't be an exaggeration to say that this maxim is an indispensable part of the teaching learning process, and it is a very natural method. Whenever I'm going to introduce a new chapter, or you are going to introduce a chapter to your students, you apply this concept. This is a very basic maxim that each and every teacher applies in the current scenario, in the present scenario, and in the real life situations. We try to link in what is known to the students to what is not known to the students. This is basically based upon the fact that known things are trustworthy and unknown things cannot be trusted, and for making the students believe in these unknown things, we have to link them to the things that are trustworthy for them, right? So this is what is exactly about the maxim of known to unknown. And if I talk about the practical implication of this maxim, it is basically followed when you introduce new chapter, some new concept, or some new skill to the students, right? You have to understand the practical implications also for applying the concept in the examination. Next we have the maxim of simple to complex. Very basic and very easier maxim that will help you to understand that how you can move in a logical manner, step by step, focusing on from the very basic things to more complex things in the coming future. You have to move on step by steps. You have to keep on raising the standard and the mental ability of the students in a logical and a sequential manner. See, if I start talking to you about the theories of learning, and I haven't explained anything about the learning itself, I haven't explained you the meaning of the learning, will you be able to understand the complex theories of learning? Absolutely no. So you have to move on from the very simple to the complex aspects of teaching and aspects of learning if you want to make the concepts easier for the students and more experiential and impactful for the students. In this process of teaching learning, the teacher should see those simple things are presented first to the students, and in a logical manner we have to move towards the complex things. That way they will start taking interest in the topic, and once they will become interested in the topic, they will gradually move to the complex things. If I initially start with the complex things, you will lose heart, you will lose confidence, you will feel demoralized and demotivated, and this is not what I want. If I start talking about the complex aspects of the NTA NET paper 1, you will feel that this is not my thing, I will not be able to understand it. So my basic idea is that I will move you from the very basic and the simple concept so that it boosts up you and it boosts up your energy and motivation, and you can move on to the complex things, the complex topics of this particular paper. So the concept of this simple to complex maxim is that we have to make the students feel comfortable in the very beginning so that we can reach to the complex level of understanding. We can move on to the complex topics. On this basis, they will become more receptive to the complex things. They will be happy to understand about them also. And what is simple in teacher's view is not necessarily simple for the student. Now you have to understand it that whatever you consider simple or complex will not depend on the knowledge of the teacher. It will depend upon the mental ability, the interest, the knowledge of the students. So you have to decide what is simple and what is complex, taking into consideration the knowledge of the students. You have to think from the perspective of the students for understanding what is simple and what is complex and how you are going to raise the standards and the levels of teaching of a particular topic. Next we have the maxim of concrete to abstract. This is a very important maxim. You should understand it, and this maxim particularly focuses on the demonstration of the concepts. It particularly talks about demonstration method. Now what is abstract and what is concrete? Abstract things are the things that are intangible, that cannot be seen, cannot be touched, but they can be felt, like an idea, a view, a thought, right? And the tangible aspects of anything are the concrete things. So an abstract object is an object which does not exist at any particular time or place. In general, the tangible entities are grouped and considered as concrete objects, while the intangible ones are considered as the abstract objects. And this maxim says that whenever you want to explain a particular thing to the students, first of all you should give them a practical overview and a practical knowledge about that thing. You should make them aware about the concept exactly as it is taking place in the real life situation. For example, I want to tell you about computers. If I show you computer, its various parts, and help you to understand that how you can use it, how you can operate it, it will give you a more experiential learning, because experiences are more impactful in providing the information instead of just providing the factual data and the syllabus to you. So concrete to abstract particularly says that a teacher can teach better and make the students learn better if you present and demonstrate the things to the students instead of just providing the factual information regarding that topic or that concept. Right? Whatever we do in live demonstrations, whatever we do when we conduct a workshop, what are we focusing on? Or whatever, whenever we do training, we are focusing on providing the on-hand experience to the students. so that this experience give them a lifelong impact of what we are trying to teach them, and they never forget about these things. So from concrete to abstract, Maxim says that you have to move from the demonstrations and then you should move on to the intellectual aspect of any topic or any concept. Psychology, like demonstration of an apparatus and instruments that are used in the laboratory. First of all, the students are acquainted with these tools and these instruments, and then they are taught how these can be used, how differently you can make use of them. So in all these situations and in all these methods, we are moving from the concrete aspect of something to an abstract aspect of something. Next we have from analysis to synthesis. Please understand this topic importantly. What is analysis and what is synthesis? This maxim is also known as part to whole. Part to whole means divide the things in different parts, then try to combine them as a whole if you want to make the students understand better and learn better about a particular thing. Suppose I want to tell you about the research process, then how I'm going to explain you? First of all, I'll explain you the each and every step of the research process. That the first step is defining the research problem, then you will review the literature, then you will make your hypothesis, and so on. In this way, I'm breaking down the entire research process into several parts, and then I am explaining you the entire process in one go as a whole. So this analysis and synthesis focuses on this particular thing only, that in analysis we break down the things into different elements, and in synthesis we try to join them. We try to make a whole aspect or a whole part of it. In other words, in analysis, the subject is broken into its components or elements, while in synthesis, the scattered elements, the different elements are combined together to make a complete unit, a complete data, so that you can learn better about that concept and that particular topic. Along with it, the complex topics, particularly this method is fruitful for the complex topics or subjects. If you break them into different parts and then try to combine them as a whole, it will be easy for you to make the students understand, and it will be easy for the students to understand also. So from analysis to synthesis, what you have to do, you have to break down the complex topics, the complex subjects into various parts, then try to link them and provide a complete overview of that topic, of that subject. Along with it, whatever you are trying to break it down into different parts, you have to present it in logical manner also, because if sequential and logical order is not followed, the entire learning will become hodgepodge and it will not help you to achieve the targets of learning. Next we have the psychological to logical. Now, what is psychological and what is logical? Psychological particularly talks about that you have to focus upon the mind and the interest of the students, their capacities, their development level, their knowledge, their skills, their interest, and their learning habits also should be taken into consideration before presenting anything to them, before telling anything about the topic or the concept. You have to know what your student actually have in their mind, what is their level of understanding, what is their attitude toward a particular concept, and then try to build up the entire subject, that the entire subject revolve around the mind of the students. With the help of understanding these psychological aspects of the students, you will be able to present whatever you are trying to tell them in a logical manner. Whatever logical is to be taught to the students can only be taught in an effective manner if you link it with the psychological aspects of the students. This maxim states that the sequence of the teaching process should be from the psychological followed by the logical, that is first focus on the psychology of the students, then move to the logical aspect. If the teaching process is not in the logical order, its organization is not systematic, the entire learning outcomes cannot be achieved at all, and your entire effort of making anything understand to the students will become waste and totally futile, which we do not want. So you have to understand the minds, the psychology, the attitude, the behavior, the interest of the students before presenting anything to them, right? So these were the few maxims that I wanted to talk to you about, and rest of the maxims we will cover up in some other video. I hope these maxims are clear to you and you can apply them in real life situation and make yourself a successful one. So thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you liked it, and do like it, share it with your friends, and help all those who are in need of these kind of videos in this pandemic situation. I wish you all the very best for your coming examination. Have a great day. Thank you so much.